tell you what, the greatest tool that you can have as a man is to walk through life and have the ability to just go, fuck you, and not give a flying fuck about what the consequences may be. But the only way that you can actually be able to do that with solid conviction is if you build leverage within yourself. And a lot of guys I coach, man, are biting their tongues with women, at their jobs. They're tolerating shit that they know they can't. But because they are forced in a corner and can't do nothing about it, what happens to them? They tolerate that shit. And what happens when you tolerate that shit? Your mental state diminishes. Your self-respect, your self-worth, your overall well-being as a man plummets. Because you can't rightfully do what you want. And that is gotta be the worst fucking feeling that you can have as a man. Not being able to do what you want. Because how can you sit there and call yourself a true man if you've got people disrespecting you? And you've got no choice but to put up with that shit. And this all comes through the inability of these people to have the amount of leverage in their life. Now, how do you gain leverage? How? Well, how I gained leverage was by working my fucking ass off. By putting myself in a position where I didn't have to tolerate the behaviors of certain individuals in my life. I worked my fucking ass off to understand how women worked. So I could play the game with women in a way that gave me the upper hand, gave me the leverage. So I didn't sit there and complain about them and think, oh, yeah, well, no. I thought, you know what? I'm going to study them. I'm going to understand how they work, their behavior patterns, all the nitty gritty. So when I'm in these encounters, I know what to do. I remember I was working a job years ago. I was an apprentice, electrician, first year, came out of the toilets, and there was a guy there with a stopwatch. I'll never forget this. This is imprinted in my brain for years, and I'm glad it has. Because this was the catalyst for essentially a lot of the things and the position that I'm in to this day. And this motherfucker was timing me like I had been in there for too damn long. Yeah, how belittling that felt? I got pulled into the office and he's like, mate, if everyone in this company was doing this, we may as well hire someone at the front to work for 80 grand a year and just be the timekeeper. And at that moment, I felt like shit. But at the same time, I thought, I can't tell this guy to fuck off right now because I don't have the leverage. I don't have the authority. I'm at the bottom of the barrel. I'm a first year apprentice. I literally need to do as I'm told. And that was the spark that fueled everything. It fueled the uprise of me wanting to be the strongest, proudest, most confident person I could be. It also fueled for me to want to be under the command of nobody, taking on the entrepreneurial route of working for myself, working on my personal brand that was solely purposeful to me so that nobody could have their thumb over me. Nobody could dictate what I can and can't say. Then I can do whatever I want. And funnily enough, it all turned around. I was working at a football club and I said some shit. And I said some shit that ruffled some feathers. And they were truth. It was truth. But people can't handle the truth. And I basically came out and I said that women's sports is shit and you're pretty much a loser if you go watch women's sports. Now, sure, may have come across a little bit vulgar, but reality is there's no I mean, that's just the straight out truth, and that's my opinion. I got let go of this club. And finally, I remember the interaction that I had with one of the club members there. And they were telling me, you know, you'd be fired if you had a job. And I actually laughed at that statement, because I thought, this is exactly why I don't have a job. Because I have positioned myself in my life where I dictate terms. And that's just the way it is. Now, technically, you know, they were paying me, so that was my job. But I didn't give a fuck. I didn't give a fuck because I had positioned myself with enough leverage in the background where that didn't affect me. Now, the caveat to this, okay, is had I not positioned myself with the leverage, had I not had an abundance of clients, had I not had a personal brand, had I not built things up in the background, then perhaps I may have deleted the video. Perhaps I may have apologized. Perhaps the answer and my response to that statement would have been a bit different. But that wouldn't have been true to me. So leverage, guys, is your key to having the ability to tell people to fuck off and not tolerate behaviors that don't align with your values. Because the more you can tell people to fuck off, the more real you're going to be, the better respect you're going to have for yourself, and you are going to attract people that are magnetized to who you are. And you're not going to be the slave to money, to pussy, or to any other bullshit ruling. But the only way in which you can have that is if you work your fucking ass off to put yourself in a position to have that leverage. Leverage is king, motherfuckers. Put your head down, get to work.